Welcome back to another episode of OK Boomer, the podcast, brought to you once again by our friends over at the Inked Marketing Team. If you are creative and you're going to do any kind of crowdfunder, before you launch that bad boy, hit up our friend Kevin Gillette over at Inked Marketing to see what they can do for you. Over 30 years in the business, let them do all the hard work for you. Inked Marketing. Hey, it's Will.
This is Thomas.
And this is OK Boomer, the podcast. We're back at the virtual spinner rack this week, taking a look at the first 40 pages.
Look. Don't say it that way. 40 pages. Man, I read the first 28 and I saw the name.
I know. I sound like such a fucking millennial.
Yeah, I read the first 28 pages.
40 pages.
And I saw the next picture. I'm like, holy shit, we're just going to have to go. We're going to have to finish the next story. God almighty, man. Like we were talking about last week, man, there are a few comic artists that I just absolutely freaking love. Wildly is one of them. Wildly and Toth. And, this is just something we haven't done. And the whole thing is all these are collected like throughout the years. Marvel even did one of these, dude. It's like a Marvel graphic novel is in here in one of these books. It's reprinted. This is the RIO complete saga. It's done like an artist edition. So you get all the scans are from like either his original work, and you can tell that you can see corrections and stuff, or whatever the best copy they could get when they did it. And dude, we talk about masterclass. This is fucking masterclass.
Well, what got me is like certain pages were like black and white, like artist edition black and white versions.
Yeah. Like
just pencils and inks. And other pages had like some color, but it wasn't like overbearing color. It was classy.
That's
something you will not see ever in a modern comic because modern comics are not classy.
You start off with the cover for this. Yes, it's RIO. This is a dated, this is a classic freaking Western comic. No superpowers, no crazy anything else. This is Cowboys and Indians, Confederacy, damn Texas Rangers. And, you'll find out kind of if you read enough of it that RIO is like a reformed bandit who is, he's seeking a pardon from Ulysses S. Grant.
Mm-hmm.
And, Grant's given him in our first story, we're going to get out of this and go ahead and go to the first page because that should just set the tone for everybody if you haven't ever seen this. Holy crap, dude. When you start a book that way, it just... damn. But yeah, so RIO is out in the West, and he is seeking a pardon from Grant, who is has tasked him with finding out what the hell is going on and who is killing the buffalo out on the damn prairie. And basically,
classic.
Yes, dude, this is so good. It freaking should give you chills how damn good this book is. Mm-hmm. But people are they're doing like damn sportsman things. They're riding trains out in the middle of the West and hanging out the damn window and shooting the buffalo, and they're pissing all the Indians off, because they're actually eating the buffalo and they're just leaving them to rot in the field.
Yeah, and if the Indians come out to try to get the buffalo to, skin it, and because they used every part of an animal they would kill.
Yes.
And, if they come out that way, the damn train guy dispatches a rider to get the cavalry to come out and kill the Indians.
Yeah, they're assholes.
I'm sorry. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, they are freaking assholes.
Where the hell was the Lone Ranger during this shit? Because, somebody needed a couple of silver bullets up there. Woo-hoo.
Yes, it's, oh, man. But, yeah, So I mean, I know we were talking like 20-something pages last week, but and then he starts every issue is me and you talk about it all the time. Every issue starts with that splash. Classic comics start with that damn splash page to get you in the mood. Wadley goes one step. He does a 2-page splash page at the beginning of every book, every story, to take you into that. And it goes on. There are 3 volumes of this, people. It's like almost 500 pages or something.
See, I knew we weren't going to just get 20. I knew I wasn't just going to get 20 pages.
Look, I'm sorry.
Because I mean, you were so excited about this book. I mean,
allergies are getting to me, y'all. It's the thing. I mean, so we start off with this beautiful panorama of just horror and destruction, and then we go straight to, and that may be where we're talking about the artist editions. He may not have been able to find the original page for this. Wadley may have sold it years ago, so they had to use the best copy they could get.
Yeah, some of the pages aren't the artist edition. Some of the pages are like the originals.
Yeah, so
the original color ones that were printed in the book.
Yeah, and I think that this is one of them. And then the next page, this is obviously the artist. This is the original, no color, just his, all of his writing, because he writes, draws, pencils, inks, lays out everything on here. And like we talked last week, for those who don't know, Wildly did Johnny Quest. Okay, and the production values on Johnny Quest were so high that it only went for one freaking season, which is a tragedy against nature, and we just won't go there.
I know.
Because it's probably my favorite cartoon from that time, second with like Space Ghost, and that's Alex Toth, who we haven't done yet, but that's soon.
not for nothing, back when that show was on and you were watching it, you would watch, and because I would do the same thing with Super Friends. We didn't care. We would watch the same 12 episodes over and over and over again.
Dude, I can watch just the intro to Johnny Quest is so badass. People don't understand it. I remember we lived in North Carolina when I first discovered Johnny Quest, and I was, I don't know, 10 maybe not. It was in reruns, and it come on at the butt crack of dawn at like 5:30 in the morning on Saturday, because it's what started the cartoon show. And then they'd start, after you woke up, they'd play some reruns, and then they'd show the new cartoons. But no, I got my little happy ass up at 5:30 in the morning to go downstairs and watch freaking Johnny Quest.
But during the week, when it was time to get up and go to school, your parents had to turn a fire hose on you to get you out of bed, right?
Yeah, I've had the ice water bath.
Oh yeah, we were doing the ALS challenge way before it was popular.
Yeah. So, this is kind of a, and this is, I'm sure this is after Clint Eastwood's, Man with No Name series, which is an absolutely phenomenal movie trilogy if you haven't seen them. I know you have, but we have watchers that may not have. So this is kind of like, pulls a little bit off of that. We know he's Rio, but he keeps describing him as the tall man. So we know Rio's a big guy. And, now that he's ridden through the field, he comes to this shack, and, the dialogue is so good. Hey, don't come any closer. I'm going to shoot you if you don't. And Rio hollers back. He says, I heard you were in these parts, King. Don't you recognize your old friend? And then we find out that King, who is is a past gunfighter who worked with Rio, hey, is that really you? I can't see no good. He's lost his eye. He's lost an eye. He's lost part of his arm. And Rio's just, hey man, let me in. Bring me a cup of that lye you call coffee. That's that coffee you drink some days.
Yeah. This is the coffee I'm drinking right now, son of a bitch.
So Rio goes in there, but I mean, dude, I mean, look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah. King lost one eye and can't see out the other.
Yeah, he can't. He's old, dude. Yeah, look at me. I'm no good.
I know the feeling, buddy. I know the feeling.
But I mean, just the art is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and it just that. And me and you were talking about it last week too. You know, with the fact that Wadley did so much in Hollywood, you can look and see how this is almost storyboarded for its own cartoon or movie show.
Yeah. Well, it's we say that about certain things, but we know, we know from talking to storyboard artists that no, that's not right because there's very little detail at all in, it's just like the bare minimum in storyboard art.
Yeah.
So this is like way beyond storyboard art. This is like fantastic art.
Oh yeah, well, I mean it's fantastic art, but I mean you can see how he's laid everything out. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean you could see the panels, you could see the camera changes angles. I mean on that top panel, the camera's way back, so you can see both of them. You can see the cabin that King is living in, and it's a squalor. He's there. And then Rio's made it to the stove. We even know what kind of it's a damn old potbelly stove. He's pouring him coffee straight off the top and drinking it. And they're talking about, King's telling him, hey man, you really need to get out of the gunslinging business. Look, dude, you can even see there's King's shadow. Here's King, there's Rio. His shadow actually cast on his shirt, on his jacket.
Mm-hmm. See, this, boys and girls and others masquerading as humans, is what we call professional sequential art. As good as pretty as Art Germ draws, let me see him do sequential art half as good as this.
Yeah, and everything is just so. It's so detailed and it's thought out. I mean, you can see and the thing is it's written so well you don't even lose anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's amazing.
You can tell just from looking at like the first couple of pages how much Wiley loves this medium. That He poured so much detail into a comic book back then when this came out. What was it? 20 cents, 15 cents?
No, I'm thinking 45 or 65 cents. I mean, we're talking.
So this was, I was around like, I was around like 10 years old when this came, 10, 13 years old when this came out then.
Yeah, when it started coming out. This is early mid, late 70s, early mid 80s. And the thing is this was published in I think it was Eclipse Comics.
Oh yeah. That was Marvel's version of Vertigo, basically.
Yeah.
It was a more mature read.
Yeah. This is Eclipse, and it was in Comico, and I
miss Comico.
Yes, dude, it's crazy. But that's the whole
Comico, the comic company. Okay,
and they did some incredible stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this is an independent comic. These are This is not regular Marvel or DC.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, and you could tell this is one of his artist proof pages because he messed something up here. He had to go back and, he whited it out and cleaned it. For whatever reason, he wasn't happy here. It really shows, I don't know what he did because it's damn near, it's perfect, a straight line or something. I don't know, but you can see where he's corrected that. I mean, even look at the freaking shadows under the table. It's just amazing how good it is. So he meets here and he talks to he's talking to King and tells him, "Look, I'm getting a pardon from, from Grant if I can stop this. We know the government's been pushing the Indians onto reservations, and they're keeping them from their hunting grounds, and that's where the train's going through. And he said the Indians keep seeing the damn people leaning out of the train shooting the buffalo, and they're getting really upset. But then, like you were saying earlier, yeah, when they go to try and get the hides or whatever, get close to the train, then the pastures start shooting them. They start shooting them and everything. And the Indians can't understand why the buffalo are being slaughtered because they need them. And it's causing, this is during the Indian Wars. They are really causing a headache for the army, and it's not anything the army's doing. It's what the train baron is doing. The train baron is doing just for fun. He doesn't give a shit. He is a despicable person.
One might even say a douche.
Yeah. So he,
you think?
yeah. So Rio questions, he questions King, and King tells him what he knows. He says, "This is what it is." So, President Grant wants me to investigate the situation, and Rio tells him, "Hey, so I'm gonna start at the source." So he's gonna go and talk to the guy who owns the actual railroad, the robber baron. And then I guess this is, like I said, like we were talking earlier, this page must be gone, but this is, this is incredible. Just there it is. Here comes the train. It's coming into a water tank, so it's a steam train. For those who don't know, they used to have wells and water tanks all over the West for the steam trains. They stop and refill so they could keep going. And Rio actually approaches the engineer when they pull into the well, and he tells him, "Hey, you get out from the cab. Actually, light down from that cab." How many people have heard that lately? Wait for a fly to light. It doesn't happen. Light down from the cab and get out. And then we go back to that. So Rio sends the engineers and his other helper out on the way, and then he gets hey, I got to get on the train, and I'm gonna talk to your boss. So he sends them out, and he tells them, "Go far enough away that I can see you from inside the train." So they do, and then he enters there. He actually enters here, and this is our villain.
Fuck up.
Yeah. So then the guy's like, "So how the hell, who are you and how'd you get in here?" And he tells him, he said, "I'm Rio. I'm here working for the government. I want you to, I got to report my findings back to the, to the president. And I want you to quit running these sporting specials," he tells him, through the Midwest, killing all the buffalo. It's because it's pissing the Indians off. Of course, this guy doesn't like it. I don't give a crap about the Indians. I'm going to blow up all the buffalo. I've got good people paying money to shoot them and everything else. And then all of a sudden, because Rio's giving the guy hell, he's got a damn little lackey who just to show up. He says, "Quit talking to Mr. Dorsey that way. I can take you." And this is where we find out, like, if you've ever seen the classic movie Quigley Down Under.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the same thing that happens.
Dorsey. Is he related to Jack Dorsey? Because that might explain a lot.
I don't know about that. But yeah, so he's, threatening Rio, and Rio's like, if you pull the gun, son, it's going to be over with. I'm going to shoot your ass. But the guy's like, "I don't want any business in here. None of that mess. Y'all calm down." And he gets mad, and he tells them all, he says, "Leave. You're not going to talk to me that way. The Indians, I'm not going to let them get you're not going to let them get the carcasses. You're not going to stop what you're doing." I'm gonna have to go and tell the president, and we'll go from there. And the guy's like, even the president's not gonna tell me how to run my damn train. Yeah, dude. Maybe you missed. This is the Wild West. I'm here on the president's behalf. I've basically solved this damn problem to get my damn pardon, and it doesn't matter what. It's gonna be solved. But Rio leaves. He leaves peacefully. He even walks out. Meanwhile, Dorsey's giving him the damn stink eye. And but I mean, the whole way it's laid out, man, is just so incredible. I mean, this could be a movie, but I mean, people don't watch westerns anymore.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, well, they don't make westerns anymore.
No, they don't. But I like watching the Western Channel on Saturday mornings. Like early, if I get up early on a Saturday morning, I put on like the classic cartoon channel and watch the old 1970s Flash Gordon cartoons and Defenders of the Earth. And when my breakfast is done, then I turn the Western channels on, and because then if I fall asleep, basically the same stuff's happening in the next one.
And the next one, unless you fall asleep during high noon, that sucker's 90 minutes. At the end of 90 minutes, it changes. But yeah, I mean, you see the shots from inside, and then it even shows there's Rio as he runs away, and Dorsey's, hey, you should have let me gun him down. I could have taken him. He's like, shut up, kid. We'll get to Innsville, which is a crappy name for a damn town. I run Innsville.
Well, he put everything into the art in this book and was all out of ideas for a town name. I'm just saying.
Is that what it is?
I'm going with that.
Innsville, Wyoming is where the town is. So.
It makes sense now. Wyoming, jeez.
Wyoming. So that's where the train stops, and we find out that or Mr. Dorsey is the actual baron, the robber baron there. So Mr. Dorsey is he's managed to put out some he's hired some private gunslingers to come in and actually take care of Rio. And of course the kid keeps telling him, he says, I can take him, we ain't got no ambush, all this. And as they discuss it, of course Dorsey's like, hey, calm down, I've hired these guys, they'll take care of him. And
it's a good plot, but we know already that it's not going to work because this is only the friggin' first issue.
I know.
I'm just saying.
So Rio makes it into town. He gets he does some gambling. Somebody accuses him of cheating. They get into a fist fight. He has to beat this guy up. Then this dude,
because he's not his Huckleberry.
Yep. This is a great, choreographed fights. I mean, look at that. Of course, Rio lays. They're all betting against, Rio and the other guy, and he lays him out. And then we find out that there's a woman who he knows from the past. What was her name again? Something. So yeah, she's upscale hoe now. She's actually running like the inn and brothel. And so Rio goes in. He's like, hey, she tells him, I thought you were dead. No, Ruby Joy's her name. Yeah, he says, but I'll take a room and a hot bath. And he's taking his boots off. She goes up to his room, I guess shows him to his room. He's taking his boots off and everything. And she's like, hey, you want me to send the girl up? He's like, no, I'm tired. I just want a bath. So Rio turns it down, but then you can see he slides into the damn big old copper tub. And when he slides into the copper tub, Ruby Joy, who tells him, hey, I'll see you in the morning, manages to steal his knife, which conveniently for everyone involved, has his name,
Etched on it.
carved and etched onto the handle. And later we see not later Rio, but we see Ruby Joy meeting up with someone else. And Dorsey, the guy who owns the train station, also owns the mortgage on Ruby Joy's hotel, inn, lodge, boarding house, brothel. And hey, if you help me frame Rio, Mr. Dorsey's going to tear up your mortgage and you'll be free and clear. So she gives the knife to one of the henchmen there, and she tells him, "Yeah, I'll make it look good." So they're going to frame Rio for a murder. We find out, but while they discuss it that night, in the morning when Rio's up having his coffee and breakfast, Ruby Joy comes to him and she tells him, that they've had, they've been friends in the
set him up,
past.
yeah.
Yeah, I really can't, go forward with this. They're going to set you up. And he says, well, I expected as much. And he's just completely calm about it. So, I mean, he's been there before. And he says, hey, he even knows that she took his knife. So he looked through his stuff and saw it was gone. And she tells him they're going to frame you for a murder. And while he's in there having breakfast, the young kid comes up onto the steps of the inn and calls him out. He says, "I'm calling you out. They're going to have a gunfight in the middle of the road." And Rio says, "Okay, whatever." And he just sits there. He says, "I'm not going to do anything." And she says, "What are you, not going to do anything?" No, he tells her, "Go get him some more coffee." And as we read a little earlier in the morning, it's in the winter. They even make a point. It's 0 damn degrees in the winter. And 0 degrees out west is different than 0 degrees other places because it's freaking dry as crap. It's 0 degrees. So they keep hollering for him, and all the townspeople are like, Rio's a coward. He's not coming out, whatever. He's afraid to face, Brazos is his name. And, the clock keeps ticking, keeps going by. And after about 30 minutes, he says, "Okay, well, I figure they're about all half froze to death, so I can go out now." So basically, he sits in there where it's nice and warm, drinking damn coffee, letting their ass stand in the middle of the road, freeze to death.
He's keeping nice and warm, drinking coffee, and he's letting all these fools that are, setting up to bushwhack him be like, their fingers are probably like frozen to their triggers and
everything else.
One of them probably pissed themselves on the roof or something.
And it froze.
It froze halfway down. They had to take the butt of the rifle and knock the icicle off or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So he's like, he goes out there and he knows what he's expecting. And then when he gets out there, this is just, I told you, no words needed. He gets in a fight. He kills the kid first. Mm-hmm. And then as they start, the guys start shooting at him from the damn rooftops. He lays them out. He kills everybody. And Dorsey's like, okay, well, I've already set him up. His partner's like, I already set him up for a murder, so you just better give him my money because I'm going to get the hell out of town. I'm not going to let him kill me either. Mm-hmm. And
then, of course, the scumbag Dorsey is like, well, you didn't kill him, so I'll give you enough. This guy wanted to run off to Mexico.
Yeah.
He wanted to get the hell out of Dodge and get to Mexico like yesterday. And Dorsey's like, goes, you didn't get the job done.
No.
So I'll give you enough money to get out of town.
And that's it.
And you're lucky you're getting that. So the guy takes his gun out.
Pistol whips his ass.
Pistol whips him, goes, well, fuck you. I'm going to take all the money.
Yeah, so he takes his money, and then when he takes his money and hightails out of town, and then after he gets out of town, we find the guy, Groot, is the guy that not Groot the Tree people from Marvel. Groot's another guy here, right here. That
he is Groot.
Yep. That Rio was fighting with earlier in the issue. He's found dead, and Rio's knife's in his back. So the town is like, it's Rio did it. Rio did it. We're going to kill him, and they go to that. But his woman actually stands up for him a little bit, but he's still, people are still going to be pissed off at him because he come into town. So Rio manages to get onto his horse, and he says, you're either headed for Canada or Mexico. So I'm going to track you. I'm going to find the guy that actually has, framed me, and I'll clear my name here too. So he heads out, and that was page 20, which I think is end of chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
And
now chapter 2.
Dude, when I saw
Satan's
this,
doorstep.
Yeah, I saw this. I was like, dude, we just got to keep going. So here, Rio has left the freaking town and is going through the damn snow and the mountains in Wyoming. And
this is just an amazing splash page.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like Bob Ross painted his happy little trees, and
it's freaking incredible, dude. And to think this is just in a comic book. This is one of the things that people talk about. Do they move them to that next level as an actual art form? Yes, this is a freaking art form, people.
Yes, and quick, tell your wife this is as close as we're getting to doing a My Little Pony comic.
This is as close. It's got horses in it. Is that why?
It's got a horse in it. Yep. And every comic book artist that I've talked to, in the last year and a half, hates drawing horses.
Apparently, Wildly has no issue with it.
Mm-hmm. I've talked to a couple guys that work for a bigger company over in the UK, and they finished a horror comic, and then they were going, and then the next project they got was a Western, and the artist is like, "You son of a," he goes, I hate drawing horses. He goes, yeah. He goes, well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. Every time I draw a horse, they're either going to be crossing a river, inside of a stable with the doors closed, or in a blizzard.
So I can draw.
So they're just there from the shoulders up.
I ain't got to draw the legs and everything else, and the hooves. But yeah, Wildly has no issue with it.
Nope.
So yeah,
I like how the Satan's doorstep there is it's got the cavalry bugle and the cavalry swords crossed.
Yep. Which is foreshadowing of what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. People.
Translation. There's a bunch of dicks in uniforms on their way.
Yep. They are. Or one of them's got a serious damn complex. So Rio's going through the freaking snow, and it gets so bad he actually can't even ride the horse anymore. So he has to get off and basically help pull the damn horse. Like, come on, buddy. We got to get someplace out of the damn snow, get over the crest of this mountain, and maybe we get down in the valley, and we'll get you something to eat, and we'll be able to get some fire going. But the horse just isn't having it. I mean, you can see it struggling against him.
Yeah. His use of grayscale and gray wash is just amazing.
Yeah. So he finally managed to get the horse to the top of the damn mountain, and he goes over it. And now his art completely changes. And why he changed, in between these couple pages in here, we don't care. It's that good.
It got even better.
Yeah. Now he's gone to a more painterly style, but you can still see how it is. So now he's got.
There's his shadow in like this in the second panel
on the damn ground.
On the ground, so he's taller, and he's already too tall already. And then you see, like on the right side, you can see like literally like big drops of sweat pouring off him.
Yeah,
Because it went from snow to Arizona.
Yeah, he's down in the damn valley, and it's hot as crap, and he's like, the snow, for just something to damn drink. So he's creaking up, and something spooks his horse, and then we see it's Indians. And they were above him, and they leaped down on top of him, and they spend a page beating the hell out of our hero.
And letting his horse run off.
Yeah, his horse runs off. And they beat the hell out of him. And then when they beat the hell out of him, they pick him up. Dude, the fight choreography is just so. That's what I'm saying. You could tell he did so much in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did a little bit more research on him than I had done in the past before we talked about this. His actual comic book work goes back into the early 50s.
Wow.
And his first comic book work was, of course, on Westerns. So yeah, he did like Two Gun Kid and stuff from Marvel, some of that stuff. They lay him out, and then the story changes. Common comic book trope. It goes to the south, miles to the south, and there's a rider that comes up on a freaking Union cavalry, and they're actually chasing the Indians for whatever reason. They're trying to drive them to the reservations and such. And this damn colonel is hey, look, I'm not stopping. We're going to have to go get those Indians. And the guys are like, hey, but there's no water left. The horses are tired. And the guy's like, hey, would Bonaparte allow an opportunity to attack an enemy to slip away? He says, no. So we're going to gallop after these Indians and attack them. That's the first thing. This dude obviously thinks too much of Bonaparte. And he heads off to attack the Indians. And when they get there to the Indian group, they see it's all women and children, and there's like only 3 or 4 guys there that are just helping protect them, and it's primarily women and children that are going to the reservation. And they get, instead of stopping, the damn colonel's like, hey, they're hostiles, they're Indians, so they attack them just outright, and they go to trying to slaughter these women and children. Of course, most of the Indians managed to get away, except for this one kid. They shoot his horse and capture him. He said that one didn't get away. So they take an Indian prisoner, and they go to question him, what the hell's going on, and I need water, and the horses need to be watered, and the supply wagon's there. After they discuss all that, we find out that they're going to there's a place not too far from here. It's an abandoned railway station called Satan's Doorstep. There's the start of our story there. But it's been abandoned because it's a narrow path where it goes through the train actually goes through these mountains, and the train was always getting robbed, so they've kind of abandoned it. But there's water there and shelter and everything else. So the cavalry's like, or not the cavalry, the colonel's like, well, that's a great place. It's a good place for a trap, but there's no way they can, they can stop us. We're the U.S. Army, and maybe they'll want to trade. I've heard that the Indians have managed to get a captive white man, which is RIO. And they head out to meet with the Indians, and they've got RIO, of course, and he tells them, they want to exchange for me for the young kid. And instead, the damn colonel, who has no morals or scruples about him, just attacks the Indians.
It sounds like a member of Congress.
Yeah, I mean, he's an ass. So he kills the Indians. They manage to rescue Rio, but when they rescue Rio, they're like, okay, now we've still got we've still got our prisoner. We're going to head back to, we're going to go to Satan's doorstep where we'll water the horses, and then we'll come back out and we'll, kick these Indians' tails and drive them to the reservation. Where Rio tells them what the hell he's doing there. He's tracking a guy that's on his way to Mexico. So that's kind of a little part of the story they keep on. But they push the damn army pushes to Satan's doorstep, and when they get there, right as they get there during broad daylight, they're going to go out and get some water. They get ambushed. And the thing that gets me on this is just like, damn it, somebody told y'all this. Mm-hmm. They told you this in the beginning, and you still walked into it. But they managed to, take shelter in the buildings there, so they're just being shot at. And they sit out, and they're like, well, maybe eventually the Indians will leave. And Rio tells them, he said, they're not going to leave. So they got there. There's two wells here. There's one down here, and there's one up on the hillside. The Indians have plenty of water. They've got plenty of food. They can wait your ass out for as long as you want. And they decide they'll go get some water and try and water the horses and everything at night in the cover of darkness, and maybe they won't. Rio's trying to find out what the hell's going on, and he realizes the colonel is just, he's lost his mind. He thinks he's Bonaparte, in America or whatever. And Rio tells him, no, dude, Geronimo is out there, and Geronimo's the guy that's laid this trap for you.
Yeah. You're screwed. When I turned the page and I was like, oh no, it's Jerry and Mo. We're fucked.
Jerry and Mo. Yeah. So
I learned all my history from the Three Stooges. I'm sorry.
The Three Stooges. Yeah. So Geronimo's there. He's the one that's actually going to kill them because the little kid that they've got is somehow not kin to him, but part of his tribe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And while they're all trying to figure out to get the water and everything else, Rio says, I think the best thing I can do is let this kid go. So he manages to let him go. And of course, when he lets him go, the damn colonel gets pissed off, and he's like, asshole, you've done this, bring him to me. We're gonna beat this, we're gonna beat the hell out of him because he's let this damn prisoner go. But someone sets fire to the damn munitions wagon, and all hell breaks loose. And the damn colonel is, it doesn't matter. We're going to do the absolute most powerful thing we can do, which is we're going to run out there with the saber charge, and we're going to kill all the Indians, and there's nothing they can do to break it. And this is where none of his lieutenants, none of the sergeants, no one else in this company has enough courage to say, this guy's out of his damn gourd. We're going to get slaughtered. Mm-hmm. And they all follow out with their saber charge, to try and run the Indians down. And when they do, the Indians kill everybody. They massacre this regiment. And shortly after.
And then I was like.
Yeah, they deserve it. He's an asshole. Mm-hmm. And Rio.
They needed somebody in that regiment just to walk up behind him and run him through with their own saber and be like, okay, I'm in command now.
Yeah, because this
lay down your weapons and surrender to Geronimo.
Yeah.
We'll get killed. Maybe.
Maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't. But if we don't, we are definitely all going to die.
And they do. I mean, Geronimo slaughters everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and except for Rio. And they realize he's not among the dead, and they have caught his horse and they put his bedroll back on his horse. They got all his weapons, food, rations, and everything. And the Indians actually send the horse in, and Rio goes out, gets on his horse, and he rides out, and he sees the actual hostage that he let go up there with Geronimo, looking at him as he leaves, and they're like, hey, a debt's been paid, and they let Rio just, go on, dude, you're fine, and he goes, I'm going to go to Mexico now. I'm going to find the guy that I'm looking for.
That white dude was honorable. Let him go.
Yeah. End of story. But yeah, that's just the first two parts. And I mean, dude, I read more than this if you didn't figure it out. Do what?
Duh. But we are not going to be reading and covering Rio for the next 6 months.
No. But it's, like I said, it's just one of those.
Oh, it's a great book.
It's absolutely incredible. And the fact that nobody really, nobody talks about him, and you can pick these up for dirt cheap. If you're going to get this collection, I looked them up. This collection they're $40 a piece for like this Masterworks collection.
A Masterworks collection with original, with original pencil and ink art included, and it's like 500 pages.
Yeah, well, I mean, all three of them are like 500 pages. I think they're 200. The first two are right at 200, and the last one's like 100. They're 3 volumes of it, and they were. I think their retail price was $49.99 when they come out, and that was like 14 years ago. I saw some for $40 to $50 on.
You might
eBay.
Find them at a store like Ollie's or Half Price Books or Books A Million for $10 or something.
Yeah, you could look at, or like so I've been buying the actual originals, which were in a lot of them were in Eclipse Monthly and the Marvel graphic novels. And the Eclipse Monthly, where they had the the stories broken up, you get just that one section of story. Is dude, you can buy them for like $3 and $4 an issue. It's crazy, and there's just nothing. There's nothing else like it at this time period. This is he's really modernized the Western comic. Because like I said, this is after the Western heyday between the 50s and early 60s, and these are, like I said, late 70s, early to mid 80s. It's just, and the art is incredible. Like I said, him and Toth are just so good. It's crazy, and both of those guys would have had enormous comic book careers if they weren't so busy in damn Hollywood. I mean, Toth did, Space Ghost and Herculoids and all that. And then,
but we're not slighting them for going to Hollywood.
No.
Because if they didn't go, our childhood cartoon experience would have fucking sucked.
Yeah, I mean, that's
no thing. Johnny Quest, no Space Ghost. Half Hanna-Barbera wouldn't be around. Come on.
Yeah. Wildly also did Thundar the Barbarian.
Oh, yeah. Get out of here. They needed to quit comics and go to Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, and, so it's just these. We talked about masterclass earlier. This is a freaking masterclass in comic book layout and storytelling. I mean, the story is, the story is very good. Is it something we've kind of seen before? Yeah, we've seen this before in Westerns and that kind of stuff. It's classic, classic storytelling, but not, this is movie quality storytelling put in a comic book. It's not cheesy. The dialogue is pretty sharp for the most part. The characters are there. The art.
This was like this was like, uh, somewhere between the spaghetti western dialogue and full blown, Hollywood western film.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the whole thing. You look, talk about spaghetti westerns and stuff. You could see, I don't say his influence here, but you could see it. All these extreme close-ups from like Sergio Leone and all that.
Mm-hmm.
People they just don't realize how much that changed the way people film movies now. Because if you watch an old John Ford western or John Huston western, and then watch a Sergio Leone western, they're completely different animals. But like this scene here in the train, right here with Rio when he confronts Dorsey, this is a very similar scene to what happens in Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West, if you've never seen it, with Henry Fonda and Charles Bronson. And that is one of the only if you ever watch it, that's one of the only roles that Henry Fonda played where he was a bad guy, and there's like very little dialogue in it. And Fonda is terrifying in that movie.
Well, I want to pass on a little tidbit, Western, culture for like TV shows and movies and stuff. For anybody that's got a Roku TV or an actual Roku device, doesn't mean downloading Roku on your phone or your like $3,000 TV or whatever. If it's an actual Roku device or a Roku TV, Roku has a FilmRise Western channel, which is basically all the stuff that studios no longer own the rights to anymore.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, studios still have the rights to it, but like all the stuff like basically went away. That's where you get like places, apps like Tubi and stuff like that get like all these like B movies or even movies that guilty pleasure movies and movies that you liked from like 20 years ago or whatever. And the rest are just usually like hacker slasher films. But they've got FilmRise has their own Western channel that you can add to your sidebar for things on Roku, and Pluto TV, which of course is free because that's why I have it. Actually has pretty good Western channels.
Yeah, I've seen some on Pluto TV. I watched The Rifleman a while back, and I forgot that.
Well, they've got like their whole classic TV lineup, which is like 10, 15 channels. One of them is kind of like spaghetti westerns. Rifleman's got his own channel on there, so you can watch Rifleman 24 hours a day.
Yeah, Rifleman.
I watched Rifleman so many times that I actually had a nightmare that I was stuck in the Rifleman, and I was waiting for Chuck Connors and his kid to like save me because some crazy hillbillies were going to murder me over water rights or something. I don't know. But they've got a Western movie channel on there that's really good.
The one that I was looking for the other day, and I actually was, I think I found it at Big Lots. I think it was like season 1 I bought. I don't know if you remember. You remember the original Wild Wild West?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I bought season 1 at Big Lots, and I was trying to explain it to my sister, and she's like, whatever. And I said, I always remember the little, how they would have the cartoon panels, like a comic book in between commercials. You'd have the little panel, like whatever, and then when the commercial, when it would fade back to that little panel and then start, and then there'd be another panel, and it would be a full comic book page by the time you got to the end of the episode.
The Masters of Disguise.
Yeah, dude, I was like, holy crap, that was so good.
It was like Mission Impossible for the Old West.
Yes, it was.
Before Will Smith ruined it.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Will Smith version. I kind of refuse to
I
watch
did. It was stupid. I'm like, I go, that wouldn't happen.
it. But no, this was something that popped into my head to read. You'd said you'd never read it, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, we got to read Rio and just really look at it. And it's like I said, it just
Oh,
holds
it's
up
so
so
good.
well.
I love westerns.
All right,
What time we'll have to make arrangements to have Rusty Gilligan come on because he's an expert on a lot of this stuff. 'Cause he was a child actor and uh, artist and a whole bunch of storyboard guy and a whole bunch of other stuff, and uh, he likes like all this older stuff like this, and he's big on that's who told me about the Western Film Rights channel on Roku too. So
oh, cool. Um, so what did you think? You think of something for next week?
yes, I did because the series is almost over on D plus. Falcon and Winter Soldier. I thought we might take a look at the very first appearance of the Falcon.
Captain America 117.
Yep. I was going to say the number, and I'm like, well, I know you know the number. I was going to try to show up, be like, wow, you know the number on that? I go, yeah. How do you know the number? I go, because I've seen it so many times. People showing up goes, look, I just got this one that I stole out of a garage sale for $1. I know it's only a 3.0, but I only paid $1 for it. I go, yeah, you paid $1.45 because it cost you $45 to get that piece of crap graded.
Oh, yep. We get to find out where Falcon actually originally comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Roy Thomas and I think it's Colin.
Mm-hmm.
Is the artist and the writer on that one. You realize that's a 3-parter too, right?
God damn it.
We'll just do the first part.
We can't do that. We're gonna read the whole.
The third.
You need to get me that story in a hurry then, because.
Yeah, the third part is actually not as tied together as the other two. Or we could do the first issue of Falcon, and we can do the first issue of Winter Soldier, which now is worth a small fortune. And
what exactly is the first issue of Winter Soldier?
I think it's Captain America, like Volume 6, Number 6. I'd have to go get it out, but I've got one.
Yeah, of course you do. That jumped, son of a bitch. That jumped way back during Civil War though, and then did like another. It's like, well, it's worth a small fortune now. I go, yeah, thanks to all the comic book speculators that think that the best job in the world is to get people pumped up about another MCU appearance. But I ain't bitching because I just sold a Bloodstone #1 for $100. So
yeah, I was supposed to say I saw. I believe I saw you had some Thor God of Thunder #2s up for sale. So
yeah.
You can't be fussing too much because that's worth a fortune.
Well, I'm fussing because I had one guy that was already, I put up the post, but I didn't take all the pictures yet. So all I had up there was like issue 1, and this guy was like already, in my DMs, like I was a 20-year-old Instagram model, and I go, well, I'm sorry. I go, it posted before I got to upload all the pictures. So I just did it. I just updated the post. So it was, and on that page, every time you post something, an admin has to approve it first. Um, so I go, as soon as an admin approves it, there's post-it notes on all the books, and yes, they're in bags and boards, so the post-it notes aren't actually on the books.
On the
And
books.
with the prices, and then I had to go back in and put, OBO, priced as marked or best offer, because everybody wants those books, but everybody wants those books at a song and dance because they want to be the ones to take them off your hand and run to eBay or run to CGC and then run to eBay. And
I just went ahead and
certain
put mine
hot
in
books
my
like
lot.
that, I didn't even know you had it, and they charge you so much already anyhow. And the whole thing's a scam, but I mean, I'm willing to spend like $50 if somebody's going to pay me like another, $100 to $700 for a book because I encapsulated it in a coffin. To hell with them. But I mean, I sold my only 2 Spider-Gwen first appearances. One went out to in the mail today to my friend John Barrett, and the other one sold to my friend, as you know, a few days, last week. John Ross came out and hung out, and he bought one, plus brought us lunch and a soda pop, and I got a first print number 1s of Kirby's The Demon and Mr. Miracle from DC too.
Yeah, I saw those. Those were really nice.
I'm like, yeah. I was like so excited. I was almost like, just take the book. I'm good with these. Just go.
Yeah, I traded. I had a first Spider Gwen, and I traded it a while back. It's been a good little while back. I traded it and I got some Silver Age. I did the same thing you did. I think I got a Captain. I can't remember what all I got for mine, but I know one of them I got was a Captain America 109 that I needed, which is a classic Kirby cover. But the speculators are driving stuff up. And the thing that's funny is like I said, we talk about this all the time. That's why we try and we don't do a whole lot of key issues on here. We usually do something that's off the wall that you can get cheap to let people know comics have been around for a long time. And there are so many good comics out there that if you get away from the whole key mentality, the fact that you can pick something up like this for $4 and read an absolutely incredible story and see incredible art should let people know, hey, there's a lot more to comics than, the first Falcon or first whatever,
There's more to comics than Detective Comics Volume 127, Brave and the Bold 27.
What I want to read?
Amazing Fantasy 15. What do you want to read?
Before they canceled it, talking about Detective Comics, and DC canceled it because they said that the stereotypes presented within, don't reflect modern cultural sensitivities and everything. But I don't know if you remember, but about a year ago, they were going to release a collection, Detective Comics 1 through 26. The first 26 issues of that series, before Batman. And
they're too much of a bunch
it.
of pussy social justice warriors.
Dude, I mean,
it's like talking to Ryan.
I wanted to, I'm like, holy crap, I really want to read these. And I understand they're not up to today's standards or whatever, but take it with context. This is almost a damn 100 years ago, people.
Mm-hmm.
Read it. You know, this is what this is the oldest. It is the oldest running DC comic book. It's actually been running longer than freaking Action Comics.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't even understand that. But
and they're too busy. No, it's gonna traumatize too many people on Twitter that don't buy comic books anyhow.
the first,
No. Trauma is when you get in an accident and lose a leg. That's trauma.
yeah,
If a book comes out that you don't like, don't buy it. Don't read it. Something's on the boob tube that you don't like, change the channel.
Well, the other thing is like I said, you know, I wouldn't have an issue with them publishing it and slapping a warning on the cover. Hey, look, this is not, you know, this, you know, whatever. You know, they did it with. I've got like the first 3 volumes of Popeye. That's another comic book character that I absolutely love, who started on the big screen, and we're talking like 1929, I think it was. His first appearance is in like Betty Boop. He's a backup character. He gets on there and sings with Betty Boop. He was so popular they gave him his own freaking show, you know. And he smokes, he cusses, he fights, you know, he drinks, yeah, all that. But they actually, when they released them, they slapped a warning on there. You know, there's stereotypes on here, blah 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 blah. They don't resist, you know. Okay, look, I understand that. You know, if you're going to watch them with your kids, watch them with your kids, and you know, be an adult and tell them, hey, people don't think this way anymore. The same thing with the Detective Comics. I know Detective Comics #1, like the very first issue, has like a picture like Fu Manchu on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Fu Manchu is on the cover of #1. Isn't it?
What's wrong with that?
But I'm like, you know, dude, it's. And the thing that people don't understand is I actually have a collection. They did a reprint of the Fu Manchu novels from that time period. Fu Manchu is the first Moriarty ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. All right, so next week we'll be back and we will do the first appearance of the Falcon.
Yeah, because Falcon and Winter Soldier is coming to an end, and then we have like a 1 or 2 week hiatus, and then what's coming up? Oh, we have to wait. Yeah, but we're not getting Loki for a while because Bad Batch comes on first. Bad Batch comes on May the 4th.
What's Bad Batch? I missed it.
You actually have to watch the very last season of the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
So the Bad Batch is a special group of clones, specialized, and they're not Jedi, they're not Sith, but they are Force attuned. From what we can figure out, so that's one of the Star Wars things, and of course it's animated. But the very last season of Clone Wars is kind of like a must watch, especially like the last half of the season. It explains a whole bunch, and that last half of that animated season ties in for like all the seasons of Mandalorian.
Oh, sweet. Well, I need to watch it then. I've watched.
So it explains why Ahsoka Tano wasn't murdered with the rest of the Jedi when General Order 66 hit. Man. It's also where Ahsoka Tano and her sidekick there, the other 2 Mandalorians, like the true Mandalorians there, actually show up in the animated series, and then they appear in real life in in
the live action TV show.
And live action, yeah, not in real life. No, that would be silly. Well, until you go to a Comic-Con, then they're there in real life, sadly. But it's pretty sick.
Cool. I'll have to check that out because, like I said, I know I'm waiting. Want to see the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like I said, I think it's two more episodes left, and then Loki after the Bad Batch.
After the Bad Batch.
And then, aren't they going to do a What If?
Don't know when that's happening.
Okay, don't know when it's happening.
I don't know when.
And
I know what's happening.
Someday in the future we'll get the Black Widow movie.
Supposedly, but it's been 84 years. Who cares? That's the meme for it. Black Widow's coming out. Oh, who cares? It's been 84 years. She's been dead forever. Who cares? But the other big spec thing is in the Loki series from like a few years ago. He went to being, he became a woman.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Loki's transgender. And just like that, I get kicked off of YouTube. So when he was a woman is specking, and then we know we're going to get younger and younger and younger Loki because one of the posters for it is the one with the little bitty horns.
The Kid Loki.
Kid Loki. So I'm digging all them motherfuckers out.
Yeah, I've got all those.
Loki sale.
That's the thing. I've been reading it for so long. It's crazy. But the thing on the whole, they were people that were getting triggered on the the Loki being a woman and Loki being a kid and all that a while back. And I was like, hold it, people. Do you people not even read anything about mythology or whatever? Loki's a god. He's the trickster god. He can be whatever he wants to be. He's an equal opportunity being, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Did you get mad when Bugs Bunny dressed like a woman to get out of trouble in the department store?
Yeah. I mean, oh God, no. Zeus is a damn duck, Ah. All right, so next week we'll be back with Captain America 117, and I'll get it to you as fast as I can, sir.
Yes, because we're going to have to read all the damn issues. The hell. All right, everybody, we hope you enjoyed this episode and my ranting and nonsensical ravings. And thanks to the Ninja Genko for showing up and hanging out for a little while, and everybody else that was popping in and out. We had quite a few viewers in here that were just kind of like hanging in the background and not saying much. Maybe listening while they were reading a book or something. So that's good.
Yeah, let us know if there's something you want us to read. Say something. We'll look at it and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, maybe something we haven't read that damn, we need to read. We're trying everything.
Yep. So no. Hey, there was a horse in this one. Leave us alone.
A bunch of horses in this one.
Yep. See.
My Little Pony.
It was grown up MLP.
Damn it.
All right. So next week we'll be back doing our best to extend Falcon and Winter Soldier by taking a look at where Falcon came from and the odd colors that his original costume was in.
Yeah. It's ugly as sin.
So we'll see you then. Until next time, peace, love, and read some comic books. Just not My Little Pony.